Patriot.
Hey, this is Skylar.
My name's the Devil's Reject.
I'm the big-time wrestling heavyweight champion, Flex Armstrong.
I'm the connected
Share.
Rusev Day every day.
It's Rusev Day every day.
Exactly.
And you're watching the Wrestling Connection.
And you're watching Wrestling Connection.
And watch the Wrestling Connection.
You're watching the Wrestling Connection.
I hear that women gain immortality from licking the feet of babies.
What? Say.
Be connected, get connected, and stay connected, brothers.
Allison.
Hello, Allison, and welcome to the.
Be connected, get connected, stay connected.
Let's get the big news. Of course, with the official presentation. Thank you.
Get connected, be evil, or die.
Moving on. Moving on.
Be connected, get connected, stay connected.
And welcome to episode 255 of the most must-see award-winning show to ever hit the Bedford TV airwaves, or any airwaves for that matter, north, south, east, west, backwards, frontwards, diagonally, sideways, any which way you look at it, all around the world, the Wrestling Connection. I'm your host, your connection to the wrestling world, the pontiff of the pro wrestling populace, the multi-fedorable felon, Mr. Ken Hill, delivering all the news to you in professional wrestling today. And alongside me, of course, if he can resist the urge to walk off set for 5 minutes.
Sure. The consumer of wrestling knowledge, the prize fighter of the Wrestling Connection, the breaker of Kens, the multi-title title holder, the inaugural reigning, defending, undisputed World Wrestling Connection champion, the legacy team Kaufman, Dan Kaufman, is here as well, the real star of the show, to continue all the news you want to hear.
I love when you joke like that.
Aw.
All right. So anyway, we're trying to let cooler heads prevail after the last couple of weeks. We're trying.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. Therapy not required here at the Wrestling Connection. We're professionals.
We're good.
We hash out our issues.
Absolutely.
We remain absolute professionals. Right, brother?
Of course. So.
All right. So, anyway, the big news.
The big news is, once again, AEW is on everyone's mind.
Everyone's mind, because we had the double or nothing. We had a double or nothing meetup, the rally this week, and we had a bunch of new signings.
Oh yeah,
made official for All Elite Wrestling.
Not including the one that is not on the list. I did take a quick look. Jimmy Havoc.
Jimmy Havoc. For those who don't know, a recent graduate from CZW Combat Zone Wrestling.
If you don't understand how terrifying that is, look at Dean Ambrose before he came to WWE.
Look up John
Moxley.
Terrifying
prospect to have him there.
Jimmy Havoc makes John Moxley look like the gobbledygooker. That's
basically
how this guy's gimmick is paper cuts. Ha ha ha. Ooh.
That's
yeah. Seriously, take a bit of sandpaper, put it on the crook of your thumb and forefinger. I would rather take a kendo stick shot.
I'd rather go to Pete Dunne.
All
right, but as to people that were actually there, let's start with this one.
Let's start with surprising signing. For those who watched Lucha, the most recent season of Lucha Underground, you may recognize this newcomer, Sonny Kiss.
Yes.
Otherwise known as Exolicious. So I mean,
which considering the whole Lucha Underground fiasco that's going on, of where multiple superstars are actually going for lawsuits to get out of their contracts because how strict they are. Apparently more so than WWE. So yeah, we're probably going to be seeing a lot more Lucha Underground stars coming out of the woodwork, and probably
starting with Sonny Kiss right here.
Yeah.
And, I mean, a very flamboyant, very outgoing, very enthusiastic. If you've seen the way he dances,
Yep.
Superstar, extremely athletic.
Oh, you can
nimble,
tell.
fluid.
Absolutely.
I mean, just how quick this guy moves.
I would have loved to see him with Leo Rush.
Leo Rush, he'd be a great addition to the cruiserweight division in WWE, or any cruiserweight division,
Absolutely.
for that matter. So you have Sonny Kiss on board.
Yep.
Speaking of cruiserweights, you have the top cruiserweight right now in the AAA Lucha promotion. We're talking about Sammy Guevara.
Down here.
Yes, the AAA Cruiserweight Champion. And if you talk about a guy who's full of confidence, he feels like he steals the show even when he's not on the card.
Oh.
He feels like he stole the show here for Double or Nothing. Says he can't wait to be the face of AEW, just like he's the face of AAA.
You know, you got to have that kind of confidence.
And
Absolutely.
I mean, this was another guy who, like you said, recently popped up on season 4 of Lucha Underground. We didn't get to see a whole lot of him, but from what we did see, he's ultra athletic, he's ultra confident, ultra bold. So he'll be an ultra competitor.
It seems we're getting a lot of the good athletic guys coming in for this promotion.
Exactly. So we know what AEW's looking.
And considering the fact that we have, some of the producers, being, the Young Bucks, they know how to set up a good athletic match.
Now, I mean, even though Cody said that, things like, honoring previous promotions like WCW is in the back of his mind, you can't help but think that this is very reminiscent so far. The young, vibrant talent is very reminiscent of WCW's Cruiserweight division.
Oh, absolutely.
Which was one of the big positive aspects.
During the worst of the WCW days, that's what people stuck around for, was the Cruiserweights.
Was the Cruiserweight division.
Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio,
Dean Malenko.
Dean Malenko, absolutely. That was great. Chris Jericho was part of that too.
Chris Jericho, Juventud Guerrero.
Juventud Guerrero, yeah.
Chavo Guerrero. So you had a lot of up and coming names that would turn into some of the biggest superstars in professional wrestling
Which has
history.
always proved you don't need to be big to be big.
You heard that, Kevin Nash?
But if you want to talk about some of the best cruiserweights in the world right now, the brothers.
The Lucha Brothers. The Lucha Brothers
Have announced they are all in.
Pentagon Dark and Phoenix. All in, official, gone from handshake agreement to official signing. And how did they cap off this signing? With a couple of package pile drivers to the Young Bucks. So so the best part is we have Double or Nothing. We already have one of our first matches set up. Young Bucks.
I love the fact that we haven't
Lucha
even
Brothers.
had AEW really come out yet, and we already have feuds set up. We got Pac and Hangman Page. We got the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks. We had when Jimmy Havoc came out. I think it was, I forget his name. Was it MJW? You go with that?
I'm good.
All right. So we got another feud that just came up, which we'll get to, because this is a long-standing feud which will continue.
Oh my God. I mean, well,
You know what?
I mean, no one. First off, no one was really surprised when this signing was announced.
I know.
I mean, it was more or less okay. We just want the confirmation. We need to know it's official.
It was either WWE, which couldn't happen because of contract, or this, because there's no other reason why he would have said anything.
Kenny Omega.
Friggin' Omega is here.
Not only signed on as a full-time competitor, but yet another executive vice president. Co.
He's Coco for Coco AEW.
Yeah, he's Coco for AEW, executive, not only full-time competitor, executive vice president alongside the Young Bucks, and who, of course, came out to greet him, so to speak, the Alpha, Chris Jericho. So once again,
We have our Alpha and Omega of AEW.
clashing once again, and it also confirmed for Double or Nothing, Jericho versus Omega 2. So
Very nice.
Couldn't have done it better. Couldn't have
Absolutely.
But
I mean, these are like the biggest names we got. I mean, there are other names which are important we need to get through, but these are the names to look out for.
But of course, we're talking about the singles division here. Now, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the tag team division. Of course, you and I have had some trials and tribulations the last few weeks, but there's something to be said about having two best friends in a promotion. And of course, we could be talking about ourselves, but no.
I wish we'd be good.
I wish, but no, we're talking about the best friends, Chucky T, Chuck Taylor, and Mr. Beretta. His last name only, Mr. Beretta. So yes, Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, in the best friends in AEW.
So already we got our tag team division area set up.
You got SCU.
SCU, so called Uncensored. You got the Young Bucks. You got the Lucha Brothers.
You got the best friends. So you already got four solid to top tier teams in AEW already, which is great.
As considering the fact that SmackDown was running with less, you could have great stuff.
That's very true. Now, I mean, that's said for the tag team division, but what about the women's division?
We got good stuff here.
Of course, with Chief Brandy Officer Brandy Rhodes.
So let's start off with the one that people are expecting.
Kylie Ray.
Absolutely.
Kylie Ray, big time.
That was one of the bigger names that was mentioned about, if she wasn't with WWE, so most likely
AEW picked her right up. All right, so a big signing right there. Now this one came to me as a surprise because I haven't heard about her in years. But Asia Kong. Asia Kong. Oh my goodness.
That's a terrifying picture.
That's if you want to look up a brute, a monster of the women's division, there she is, right there. Like.
She looks like she'll be the Vader.
She's ageless. Like I mean, this woman teared it up in the WWF in the 90s. I mean, she's still feared everywhere she goes, and now she's coming to AEW.
It's nice to. It's definitely a good idea to have a larger, not just a larger woman, more imposing, but also a veteran. Absolutely.
So. But still, I feel sorry for her.
I feel very sorry for a lot of people. Like, if Brandy Rhodes has to go up against her.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, I imagine she's about to, do like a top rope move, and Cody's on top of Brandy. Like, no. But we also have.
Well, this one's a unique sign because I'll be frank. I have not heard much of her. Yuka Sakazaki, apparently a big time performer over in Japan. Haven't heard a whole lot of her, but from what I've seen, she's very athletic. She has a great personality. So I think AEW will be a good platform for people to see more of Yuka. I know certainly it'll be beneficial to me because.
Oh yeah, no. Like, don't forget. Outside of WWE and Impact, I'm not even sure I can mention Impact. After WWE, New Japan is where everyone goes.
Exactly.
And it's not just for the gaijins, the American wrestlers that are over there. There's a reason why Nakamura was considered one of the best wrestlers in the world, and now it's Okada and Naito. And
the problem with one of the more consistent criticisms, not necessarily small, consistent criticisms of New Japan was that they didn't have a women's division.
Yeah. I
mean, you may see like 1-2 female valets, but no women's division, which I think was very resulting. Now you're bringing over the best and brightest that Japan has to offer in terms of women's wrestling. So
absolutely,
it helps that you're representing all walks here, not just stateside, but in the Far East. So Yuka, I think, is a great. I think
this partnership they have overseas is really working out for them.
Not to mention the partnership they have with AAA now.
Yeah.
So now you have ready access to a number of up and coming.
This is already a stacked division, and they can still just not poach but borrow talent from all over to get dream matches that we haven't seen.
Inter-20 champion. And that's not to say that maybe they don't already have other partnerships in the works. For all we know, I mean,
we don't even know which specific TV deal they have. But we know that Cody and the Young Bucks have done nothing but have great rapport with tons of indie promotions that they'd love to just.
I mean, not to mention their financial backers. If you're telling me the Cons wouldn't be able to set them up with some sort of TV deal on some sports channel or channel that could benefit from having a program like AEW. Again, I bring up stateside Spike TV.
Absolutely.
Spike's
Spike
always been a solid home.
Imagine if they had Spike.
Spike would be huge.
Absolutely huge. You got Spike, the TNN network, with all the places where WWE were and then moved away from. You have the Sci-Fi channel. If imagine they could get that, that'd be something you actually watch Sci-Fi channel for.
Oh, of course. Besides Edge, no, because we always love watching Edge in his retirement years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so I mean,
so these are just names that we are showing up here, and this is the second rally they have. They're going to have another, and they're just going to keep coming more and more. And by the time we have another one, we might get some stars that we're maybe signed to contracts.
Right. So these are the names that have been confirmed.
Yes,
we saw at the most recent rally. Now
I'd imagine
we move on to the most recent list of names that may or may not, could be or could already be. We don't know. We have absolutely no idea. We're not Dave Meltzer. Okay. We can't confirm or deny.
Yeah.
These names.
Unfortunately, we don't have those kind of connections.
Yeah, we can't we can't confirm their health reports.
Yeah.
Hey, AJ, how's that hernia doing? Anyway, some of the names that have been rumored to be signed on, like coming from WWE. You have rumors of again the revival.
The revival's still there,
still in the hat, even though WWE is supposedly going out of their way to revamp the tag division so that the Dawson and Wilder will be placated.
Mm-hmm.
That they'll stick.
We'll see about that.
We'll see.
Considering the fact they seem to be getting their feud with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, not to mention all these things about tag ropes and illegal men only being. These are rules that have been in place for years. WWE is only now starting to enforce them for the heck of it, just to put their minds at ease. I mean, once they take their minds off, forget it. We're going to go back to same old. So, again, remains to be seen if WWE is actually serious about changing up the tag team rules.
Very true.
Or enforcing them.
Yep. When it comes to other names that are mentioned, the one who's been pushing, saying he's up for talks with AEW, Randy Orton, which was a huge surprise.
Randy Orton.
Like, I honestly can't see it.
You're talking about a guy who's a WWE lifer.
Yeah, I mean, this is not Chris Jericho, who started off in Japan and then went to Mexico and then WCW, ECW, and then WWE, where he was already.
I mean, we're talking about Randy Orton, who's, again, he's a veteran. He has his own tour bus. He gets to travel around with his family. He doesn't have to worry about any of the trials and tribulations being apart from anyone.
Not to mention his contract already says he doesn't have to stick around.
His contract, his merch, he can just go anytime he wants. I mean, he still sticks around for WWE just for the hell of it. Mm-hmm. Because he works a reduced schedule. He can just come and go as he pleases.
So the sheer fact that he's even brought up AEW in his own thing and is not criticism, which is what he's known for promotions outside WWE.
I mean, has you curious? And the thing is, what if he were to sign on? I mean, you would have to think he'd have to have a pretty substantial role in AEW. Mm-hmm. I don't think he'd ask for anything less.
You did bring something up. If he were to sign, they need to get one other person.
Ted DiBiase, because you already got Cody in there. I think it would just be a natural thing to bring it. I know DiBiase's been out of the game for many years. But I mean, I think it would just be a natural thing to bring him and Orton in.
You do
for a legacy reunion.
You do have a penchant for factions.
Exactly. I mean, reuniting the legacy faction, I think, would be a brilliant thing. I mean, Cody is such a natural heel. I mean, to have him bring in Orton and DiBiase and reunite the legacy thing as kind of maybe the corporation type faction, that would be perfect.
Well, you could do similar to what Omega did with Coda. You know, you have the Golden Elite versus the Golden Lovers versus the Elite. You could have Legacy versus, you know, AEW's top, you know, producers and executives.
Exactly. Versus, I mean, for God's sakes, you got Billy Gunn as a producer in there, one of the members of DX, who was a member of the corporation at the time.
Very true.
It's not entirely unprecedented that Billy might bring up this kind of idea.
Yep. So, you know, you get speaking of, you know, top stars from WWE, you have this still talks about AJ Styles.
To talk about Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks, who has put out multiple times of, you know, take me with you when someone talks about leaving, or I want Mauro Ranallo to at least call one of my matches before I leave. You know?
I mean, what does it say? Like, okay, okay, now she's saying she's tired of the commentary. Okay, I mean, you usually think it's just us. You usually think it's everyone just saying, "Oh, we're so tired." I mean, unless they're over in England and they don't have Vince in their ear 24/7.
I remember, just watch the commentary for NXT. If you look at the specific announcer's desk, 2 of the 3, you know, the 2 that we like, are not looking at the monitors to call the action the way the crowd does. They're looking at the action.
They're studying. They're not. All right. I mean, maybe yes, Triple H is back there, like giving him suggestions on how to call the matches and what to talk about. But at the same time, that emotion that you get from Nigel, from Mauro, even Percy Watson, who I admit has grown on me a little bit. Okay, it's natural. It's natural. It's not forced. It's not commercialized.
You know, there's a reason, you know, the fact JR did not want to be told what was happening during matches, so he can burst out with emotion when something happened, just as the crowd
It was the same with Mick Foley. Mick Foley, for the cup of coffee that he was on SmackDown as an announcer. He couldn't even take more than a few months of Vince screaming in his ear, telling him what to say, and he was just up and done with it. Mm-hmm. And for the brief time he was there, he was great because he put over the superstars. I've said this. I feel like I'm being a dead horse. I've brought this up time and again. He went to the superstars. He did research. He asked them, okay, what makes your characters work? What makes them tick? What is something they might do or say in the situation we got set up for them tonight? What direction would they go in? And then he knows what to do. He knows how to convey the proper emotion because he went out and did the research.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Now, that's not to say that, okay, Corey and Renee and Michael don't go out and do the necessary research. But the problem is they follow Vince's guidelines so much more.
Like, do you honestly think that Renee Young has been saying the things she's wanted to say while she's been on commentary? No, she has to act like, you know, she has to try and defend herself against Corey Graves, who antagonizes way too much, and instead of going watching
instead keying on the matches. Okay, I'm sorry. I get that he's trying to go for the whole hipster Jerry Lawler thing whenever Mandy Rose shows up. Okay, I know because King kind of obviously had a thing for all the divas back in his heyday, and it was fine. It was part of his character. He made it work. He was a lecherous old man. It was his gimmick. He made it work. It was funny. With Corey, it just takes away from him. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit his MO as an announcer. I mean, this is the guy who's supposed to be representing both Raw and SmackDown,
mm-hmm.
and like he can't even give half the decent commentary that others can with one show.
It's very true.
I mean, Tom Phillips, straight man, calls the matches. I mean, and
people call him like the Michael Cole light of SmackDown.
Right, but the thing is, he's a little more personal. He's easy to get along with. He doesn't sound nearly as, again, commercialized as Michael Cole does.
Basically, Corey Graves can't seem to do a commentator thing without someone to antagonize. He has to antagonize him.
Oh. I really love the beard. Keep it up. Are you trying to grow one like Dan?
Oh.
He's emulating the champ. Watch out, Dan.
Yeah.
He's going to start to dress like you and act like you. He did it to me once.
Okay.
Yeah. Emulate you. Sure.
I mean,
right.
I mean, you know, I am considered the royalty right now.
Yeah, and yeah. Okay.
But we have to remember, if you get too close, I'll have to lock you up. And the so penitentiary.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. With what? Yeah. With what key?
Well, if I don't have a key, that means you're just stuck.
Yeah. Or I could just kick the bars open. Key. Yeah. Anyway.
I was trying to segue. The Usos is actually mentioned in AEW talks. They haven't signed a new contract.
I mean, this is one rumor I couldn't see either. I mean, Orton I could actually possibly see, just because of the potential. But the Usos, I mean, again,
they're still considered a top tier.
They got a good thing going in WWE. Why? I mean, why jostle that? Why swallow that?
Imagine if they said we'll sign, and we'd love to sign, but my one concession is we can get one match away from WWE. Imagine if that's actually a thing now. They can choose to get one match away from most wrestlers.
I mean, again, Vince would have to be willing to actually negotiate something like that. It's one thing, okay, letting someone like Ric Flair show up on, like letting Christian show up on Impact.
Yeah.
Just so, like, okay, they can induct Ric Flair. They can induct the Four Horsemen into the Hall of Fame. It's borrow Rick from TNA to induct into Hall of Fame. That's one thing. But I mean, actually contracting themselves to compete one match outside of WWE, give other shows free promotion.
The way I see it is, Vince is going to have to look. It's either you do that kind of concession or a massive pay raise, because they could probably get just as big a pay raise from AEW.
I mean, that's exactly what Vince has been negotiating with a number of superstars, trying
the
to
whole thing with Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, trying to lock him down to bigger long-term contracts, and that's exactly what didn't work with Dean. Like, they offered him more.
He just said he was done.
More money, and he said, "No, I don't want any more hokey stuff. No more BS. I'm done. I'm gone. I'm out."
Yep.
After WrestleMania, I'm done. There's no.
And that's what's going on allegedly.
And I mean, it was supposedly like that with Punk back in 2011. I mean,
I guess if you believe what Punk says, his decision to re-sign was on his last show.
Last minute.
Very last minute. Literally
last minute. Up until then, he was truly going to walk out. I mean,
granted, if that were the case, he wouldn't have won the belt.
Probably not. No.
But because of that, we got one of the best feuds going and one of the best storylines going for years to come. It's one of the things that cemented CM Punk as one of the greatest who will never be forgotten.
No, because I mean, we're bringing him up 8 years to the day. So what does that tell you?
Yeah. Let's see. So Sasha, Gallows and Anderson.
Gallows and Anderson. I could definitely see this.
It was like a 3-year deal. The contracts are coming up. They have done next to nothing. They're finally getting a feud with Nakamura and Rusev, and they lost.
And they had one cup of coffee reign with the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Mm-hmm. It almost felt, and it did not last.
No, it didn't.
If I remember, do you remember who they lost it to? I do.
The Hardys.
Yeah, the Hardys returning, because that was
in the ladder
100% more important than Gallows and Anderson looking dominant.
No, so I mean, really, the Good Brothers have done nothing. They've done nothing. I mean, they even acknowledge how stupid it was that they broke up the club to begin with in a recent interview. They just talked about how
the best things that people were looking forward to with Gallows and Anderson was his team ups with AJ and his teams up with Finn.
I mean,
Finn happened once.
Them versus the Bloodline. Them versus Roman Reigns and the Usos. I thought. I mean, they could have. I mean, heck, if you had bumped Finn or Roman over to SmackDown, not that I wouldn't bet they would ever bump Roman over to SmackDown, but they could have revisited the whole feud right then and there.
Absolutely,
that could have been the top feud on SmackDown.
I'd love to have seen that. It's a rematch with AJ versus Roman. You could turn AJ heel again,
or AJ versus Finn.
We've gotten that once, and there's a chance it might happen again if AJ does choose to leave.
I mean, you could have had something incredible, and they just kind of coughed it up. They just nixed it. I mean, they revisited AJ and Gallows and Anderson like once since the Good Brothers came over to SmackDown, and they haven't done anything with it.
They're almost as used as sanity.
And I mean, it's,
that Gallows and Anderson are going to be welcomed with open arms anywhere they go.
Exactly. I mean, New Japan, AEW.
Carl Anderson was a finalist in one of the G1s. You know, Doc Gallows considered one of the strongest guys of the Bullet Club when he came over.
And if I'm not mistaken, part and parcel one of the most dominant tag teams in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Absolutely.
Are one of the most dominant factions in New Japan Pro Wrestling, in the Bullet Club. I mean, he and Anderson just tore it up in New Japan. What was it? Three-time
It's something like that, yeah.
3-time tag team champions. And I mean, they just feel completely wasted. I mean, you have them doing these stupid little backstage skits now, and like backstage videos, like, you know, Botch Club. I mean, if that's not a shot, I mean, come on. I don't know. I would love to see him anywhere but WWE at this point.
Yeah, very true. Let him actually cut loose.
Cut loose. Just let them dominate. Let them tear up. Hell, you know what? Send them to Impact. Because right now, okay, you're gonna need someone to follow up with LAX.
LAX, especially with the Lucha Brothers now being, you know, exclusive.
I mean, I mean, okay, send them down to Impact. Send them to Ring of Honor, New Japan. Anyway, they would fit in great anywhere, just as long as it's not WWE.
Because apparently
they don't know what to do with them. They just don't know. They don't know, or they don't care. I think that would be the bigger. I think that would be the better consensus. They just don't care.
Let's put it this way: aside from AJ Styles, who would they grab from New Japan that they've actually pushed hard?
Let's see, Finn. Like,
do you count that as hard? He's never won a title after he got hurt.
Yeah, he's been start and stop it.
And I don't mean just the world title. I mean a title.
Okay, how about Tensai? Oh, I'm sorry, Jason Albert. I'm sorry.
I mean, at least he still has a role.
I mean, unlike Bray Wyatt, when, like, okay, basically as soon as the fans started chanting Albert, he was done.
He was done.
He was done. They were never going to take him seriously.
Yeah. That's because unlike Bray Wyatt, he didn't have a character.
He was just.
He just came out to look dominant, and yes, he is very intimidating. But it takes more than that to get over in WWE. Albert barely had a character before he left,
and ended up in a tag team with
X-Pac and Brodus Clays after. Even Brodus. What happened to him being, you know, the dominant, you know, the...
Yeah, but he wasn't in New Japan.
Yeah. He's still more respected now than he was in WWE.
Yeah, he's better off just as being a bouncer, an enforcer. That's what he does best. I mean, okay, Nakamura. Okay, yeah, he's got a couple runs.
His contract's supposed to end sometime this year.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him finish up in New Japan. I just think that would be the way for him to go. Just like, if he's going to retire, because, you know, he's been saying he's had only a couple of years left. Ended in New Japan. Ended on a high note.
He is now officially gone, so I'm going to call him by what he would probably be preferred to called Kenta. Kenta, sure. He flew back to Japan, but he doesn't have to stay there. AEW can easily get him, and you know what? Cruiserweights again.
I mean, imagine that. Kenta, Guevara, Pentagon, Phoenix. I mean, the crossover potential is insane. The mesh of styles.
Rey Mysterio, I do not imagine he's going to be there for long. I'd imagine him.
I can't imagine him having a very permanent deal.
Yeah. I imagine it's like a year, and then he could probably go anywhere else.
He could just pop up anywhere. I mean, put over.
I'd imagine he's like an RVD role.
Exactly. One shot deals. One shot. Uno shot. Sorry. Uno shot. That's not going to catch on, is it? No. Okay. Anyway.
And if you want to talk about Lucha, who really are not being used to their Lucha best, Kalisto, Gran Metalik, and Lince Dorado. And, I mean, you think, why don't they just put these guys back on 205? Why are they on Raw? Because they need to flesh out the Raw roster.
The tag team ranks.
And they're not, and I'm sorry, it's not a Mustafa Ali deal. They are not considered championship potential.
No, they're not. They're not really. They're jokes.
Yeah,
they're Lucha jokes.
Not to mention, you know, they came in with the Lucha House rules, which just destroyed their credibility, annihilated it. Because the Revival were right. They were cheating under the rules that WWE have. Because the
They-
Revival
they-
does
they-
not
they-
have an
they
extra
didn't-
person.
They didn't even specify.
Exactly. It's literally kid rules. Oh, no, that didn't happen. That doesn't count.
Yeah, it's like playing pretend. Oh, what? Sorry, my bad. Okay, he can tag in now, even though he wasn't having part of the match. He's in now. Okay.
There needs to be another person in the ring. We can't have the boring.
I mean,
You,
they
go.
even did this during Survivor Series. Like, okay, one lucha member got injured. Another one who's standing on the outside just hops right up on the apron like nothing happened.
Well, what's the deal? Like, do you think that they're so like paper thin that they're just gonna get hurt? So therefore, this is the rule to make sure that we can keep the match going or something?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
This is just us complaining.
It is because. I mean, okay. I mean, what are we going to talk? Well, I mean,
This is the thing
what
about
are we gonna talk about.
This is the thing about AEW. It brings up more and more complaints that we've had with WWE because we want to see the better
And
stuff.
they haven't even had an official show take place after All In. Like, we're still waiting on Double or Nothing. The ticket sales have gone up. So obviously it's
gonna sell out.
It's going to sell out.
Oh,
there's no
absolutely.
doubt. There's no doubt it will.
It might be in doubt that it'll be done in a half hour, but no, I doubt it'll take more than a week.
Oh, are you talking about that or your title reign?
Oh, funny. No. Hey, what I said stands. Mania. You know,
okay.
it gives us more to do with what happens in B shows. We can choose to do something else. For example, how about a punishment if someone loses at Elimination Chamber as opposed to someone winning the belt? Therefore, they just, instead of just saying, oh, okay, fine, boop, boop, done. What the hell's the point of that? Honestly, the entire reason why you had all those freaking title reigns wasn't because you worked your butt off for them like John Cena or Ric Flair. It's because the fact they're so easy to get.
Are you seriously comparing someone like John Cena to me? Like,
I probably shouldn't. I mean, John Cena actually put in effort.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay, you have to remember that the people you were going up against didn't care or didn't have a mind for the business.
And that's why I came up with the Big Four title in the first place. Or did you completely blot out that part of my speech?
I didn't blot out. I'm remembering the fact that you're like, well, no, we don't need the Big Four.
I gave them the Big Four title because, like you said, there were a lot of people in here, like Zach, like Greg, like Julie, like a number of people that came and went the Wrestling Connection that didn't have the mind for the business like you and I did.
Exactly.
That's why I realized that, okay, if it was just going to be you and me for the most part, that was just going to be a crutch, one that neither of us needed.
Exactly. I agree.
Okay,
I completely agree.
I used the Big Four title to help elevate others, to keep them on our level.
Agreed.
So that, okay, it would be a fair and balanced competition. So it wouldn't be completely one-sided. I'm sorry if I'm good at predictions. I'm sorry if I seem to find some way to come out on top one way or another. But did I do it unfairly? No. I gave him Apple. Okay, here's the thing. You know how many times I held that? Twice. Like in the 3.5 years we had that I introduced that on the show. I only held it twice, and I didn't even like using it. Like I said, I always referred to it as a crutch. I didn't like having to use it. I always waited until the very last pay-per-view where I could use it.
Okay, so this gone, happy. That's fine. But here and now we have one belt, the World Wrestling Connection belt. That's the one we have to worry about. So why do you want to make it so it's so easy to get?
Oh, I never said it was easy to get. With you and I, it's always going to be a battle of wills, a battle of the minds. Okay, who can call a pay-per-view better? Who can see what's going to happen better?
Exactly. So when a Big Four pay-per-view, especially something like Mania comes up, we're going to have a long line of storylines where we're going to see how they're going to plot out how this route's going to take at Mania. So, for example, last year, we had Asuka versus Charlotte, where Asuka didn't decide immediately, but still ran through Raw immediately, and then showed up on SmackDown to challenge Charlotte, who was considered the best there. We had to determine via how they were presenting it to us what they were going to do. These Big Four pay-per-views are supposed to be where they're putting in their best effort, so why don't we?
And I'm saying, why don't we put our best efforts forward towards every pay-per-view? Because Elimination Chamber is critical. Here's the thing. 2017, I wasn't almost no one was expecting Bray Wyatt to come out champion. If Randy Orton hadn't won the Rumble, I would never have picked Wyatt to win. I probably would have gone Cena. I probably would have gone AJ. But as soon as Orton won, it clicked in my mind. They're going for the breakup of the Wyatt family. That's what they're doing. It was that way. Yeah, maybe it was easy. But again, I also had to pick Cena for a second pick because you never know. You never know when Vince might throw a wrench in the plans and say, oh no, I want Cena versus Orton for the 100 millionth time. Okay? You can never say never with any pay-per-view, even if it seems easily predictable. Like with the Elimination Chamber coming up, everyone thinks, okay, you and I are just going to pick Bryan, and that'll be the end of it. You never know. Okay, they might go with someone different. They might have Orton win. They might have AJ win it back. You don't, because Rowan's not going to have any sort of involvement in here. We don't know when Harper.
You say that, but I still imagine like Rowan's outside, then Luke Harper pops up in the final.
There you go. Okay. It could go one way or the other. You can't. You and I, even though we have sound minds for pro wrestling, but the problem is, even we are prone to not being able to anticipate these sort of things. We can't anticipate every single little thing is going to happen because the one thing that pro wrestling does best is keep things close to the vest. Drop little hints here or there to throw analysts like you and I off, okay, for every pay-per-view, no matter how big, like WrestleMania, or how seemingly inconspicuous, seemingly small, like Elimination Chamber, like the Go Home pay-per-view. You never know. Oh, you think, they're not going to change up the status quo. They're not going to. You never know. You can't just assume. That's why I think the title should be online, because simply put, every pay-per-view matters, no matter how big or small.
Tell you what. If you think it's that important, how about at one of these B shows? I'm still calling them B shows. I don't care how good they are. We decide who gets bonuses to getting the belt at Mania, or who gets punished before the belt at Mania. We don't say that the shows mean nothing, because then we won't review them. Agreed. The shows need to matter. But how about we start affecting us personally instead of saying it's all about the belt?
Okay. So you want to think of punishments. So, what sort of punishment would you come up with if, say, I were to come in last at Elimination Chamber?
Well, they are behind a cell.
Okay, so let's see. Maybe inflict a handicap. You could choose to give yourself a +1 handicap, an extra point going into WrestleMania, or you can inflict a -1 handicap on me or whoever else may be participating in WrestleMania this year.
Sounds good to me.
So
it gives us a chance to say, if these shows matter so much to you, then use them to your advantage for the upcoming pay-per-view where the title's on the line.
So there we go. So at the upcoming Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, whoever comes out on top will have the option of either giving themselves a +1 handicap going into WrestleMania for that pay-per preview, or they can inflict a -1 handicap onto anyone they choose. No questions asked.
Sounds good to me. It gives us something to do while the belt's not on the line, while the belt is in the process of becoming something greater than what it was before.
I mean, it was already pretty great, but whatever you say, champ.
With that being said, I would like to thank you all for tuning in to my show. with my co-host, Mr. Kenny Omega.
Flattering. Truly, truly flattering.
Look, I respect you for what you've done here. We already said this. This is good. This is just beating an old record. I like having you on the show, but the fact that you can't seem to be without you can't even be without touching the belt on each show. You're like this, and then you touch it as if you were saying, "Oh, it's still mine." No.
Well, I just like that how, like, considering how much I built up the legacy of the Big Four title. Something I came up with. Not necessarily to give others a fighting chance, but something to honor a previous co-host of mine. Someone you know very well. Zach Martinkus. Now a proud father, a proud husband. Hey, Zach. You see, I'm going to hold on to this because clearly you don't seem to want to respect it. I'm going to hold on to this because this reminds me of what I did. The fact that, okay, you want to call me selfish. You want to say I have a huge ego, that I can't let anyone else into my little wrestling connection bubble. Yet here you are. And yet, okay, there was Zach, there was Julian, there was Julie, there was Greg, there was Nick, and everyone else. Everyone else that I've let come onto this show at one time or another. Be a part of the world that I live in. See, this is for them. Okay? I'm going to hold on to this because it reminds me of those times where I gave everyone a chance to be an equal part of this show, not just on the sidelines, not just in the background.
So, for anybody who watches South Park, I'm going to say this. His name may be Ken, but you may as well call him the Kyle. Now, if anyone watches South Park, they'll get the reference I'm referring to. But until then, AEW, we're looking forward to it. Elimination Chamber, next week is our paper preview. Paper preview, view. And then, when Elimination Chamber happens, we are going to determine who gets to choose for +1 or -1. And then we'll return to the belts.
And oh, believe me, when I win that handicap, I already got a pretty good feeling who I'm going to use it on.
Sounds good. But in the meantime, thank you everybody for watching my show. Our show, sorry.
Oh, good save.
And in the meantime,
remember, as always, be connected.
Get connected.
Stay connected.
Kermit.
Players out. Love of God. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's some things that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it. The wrestling connection. The lovers, the dreamers.